Hello you fantastic people and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 video. I hope you guys are all doing well. In this video, it is my level 65 Mayhem 10 flak snipers only build. It's literally my 8th flak build, but this one is special. Snipers only. I know a lot of you guys wanted me to make it, and I really wanted to make it, but it took me a hot minute to get all of these snipers because there's so many fantastic, not only viable, but like really hard hitting sniper rifles in this game right now that you can one dink a lot of bosses with, you can destroy takedowns with. It's so much fun. It takes me back to Borderlands 2 0 snipers only builds or just playthroughs, anything like that, and flak can finally do that with a ton of different snipers. As usual, I'm going to start showing some clips on screen so you guys can see how much damage this thing does with so many different sniper rifles. The unseen threat, the king of Jacob sniper rifles, can literally one-shot so many bosses in this game without a one-shotter shield. You can use that, of course, if you manage to find one somehow. You can definitely one-shot things with that as well, but you do not need it to one shot with this build, which is really fun. Just before we get too far in the video, if you guys do find this one helpful or enjoyable, feel free to smash subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. I usually leave these kinds of things for the end of the video, but 90% of people that watch my videos this month aren't subscribed. So if you guys are coming back and enjoying these ones, feel free to smash subscribe. It really does help me out a ton. But yeah, in this video, I'm going to show you guys the skill tree you're going to need for the level 65 sniper flak build, as well as, of course, the sniper rifles you guys want to go for in base game and DLC. This is not a DLC dependent build or whatsoever, by the way. There's a ton of base game sniper rifles that hit for millions and millions of damage, which is awesome. As well as the Emotes you guys want to look out for, the gear and the Mayhem modifiers that you guys want to rock to absolutely destroy all the things in this game. But yeah, hopefully the clips are doing this build justice on screen. It was a ton of fun finishing this build up today, running it through the takedown, running it through Athena's, and just testing it out against all of the bosses. As for the gear you guys want to go for, starting off with the Emotes, there's actually a huge range of ones you can go for. This is primarily a fadeaway build. You can totally rock rack attack if you prefer that build instead, but I've got it set up for a 3-shot fadeaway. You can also change it to Gorillas in this fadeaway if you want. That's why there's such a huge variety of Emotes you can rock. I somehow managed to get the 150% bonus radiation under 50% health, or URAD anoint, on pretty much every sniper rifle first. For some reason, I never usually get those, but those are the ones I got first. So I set this up as a URAD build for myself in the clips, mostly because that's just what I managed to get on most of the sniper rifles. I would highly recommend getting 100% ASC. I have that on a few of these as well. If you guys want 200% ASA for Gorillas in the Mist flak, that's going to work the best for that. If you have high fire rate multi-pellet sniper rifles like the Sandhawk, maybe the Skull Masher, consecutive hits works pretty well as well. Things that do splash damage like the complex root. Extra splash damage on that is currently bugged at the moment, but if you do want to nuke the entire room, including yourself, you can put splash damage on a few of these as well. As for weapons, we have the unseen threat, like I said, king of Jacob sniper rifles. This thing, bossing, mobbing. If you are accurate and hit those critical hits, it's literally overkill in mobbing situations. The Jacob sniper rifle, like a ricochet ability, if you hit critical hits, it just clears rooms with any Jacob sniper rifle at the moment, because they all have been either amazing the whole time or recently got buffed, so now they all do a ton of damage, which is awesome. The Skull Masher is my particular favorite. Multiple pellets of flak is really good for his skill tree, and high fire rate. If things get way too close and personal, you just spam that thing and they're going to die anyways, even if you're not accurate. The Head Explosion, really fun, does splash damage on the ricochets. I think it ricochets 4 pellets. Does a ton of damage, really fun for room clearing, really fun for melee 1 takedown, or just Athena's just mobbing situations in general. The Prime from DLC 4, ton of fun to use. It's pretty much like a more mobbing centered LYUDA. It has like fire rockets that come down from the sky, which is really fun, just blowing up the entire battlefield with. The inventory is literally stacked with different roles I've managed to get over the last 2 weeks. For the PC save file, there's always one in the description, by the way, of all of my build videos, if you guys want to check it out for PC. Sorry for console, we can't do that quite yet, but fingers crossed with the crossplay coming, we can do that soon. But yeah, I left all the Emotes, the good ones that I have, in my backpack for that, in case you guys don't want to run a URAD setup. There's next 2 mags, there's 100% ASC variants in here. For example, we've got the Unseen Threat, we have the Bastido, we have more complex roots, we have a Prime with 200% ASA if you guys want to run Gorillas in the Mist. We have Sandhawks, we've got a URAD one in there. This is kind of all mixed up for some reason. But we've got a Monocool. This thing is really fun to use. Surprisingly, it used to be a meme, but I personally only use it for really long distance targets because it has 14.6 times zoom. But it is really worth using and aiming down sights because you get a huge critical hit bonus when you aim down sights with it. Of course, some Sandhawks in here, different variations of Bastidos, Explosions. The LYUDA, amazing for bossing situations. The problem with the LYUDA and the Sandhawk at the moment is we don't have a ton of sniper SDU, so unless you want to use a cut purse launchpad all the damn time, you kind of want to keep those for bossing situations and use Jacobs for mobbing because they're not as ammo like hungry, I guess. But yeah, we just have a ton of different variations in here just for you guys to mess around with if you want. I chucked the Hunted in there just because I found it and I thought, why not? The Firestorm, surprisingly, actually pretty solid. It's mostly, if you can, it's situational. It has the fireballs that go up and down, so if you can get those fireballs to hit, it actually does a fair bit of damage. It actually almost won clipped Grave Ward today on Mayhem 10, which is kind of crazy. The Melee Bane, complete trash at the moment, but fingers crossed they buff it. I chucked in a really good roll just for the backpack, and fingers crossed that they do buff it. The Storm, I personally don't like it, but you can get a ton of damage out of it by using a Transformer, spamming the different firing modes, and just firing repeatedly. You can get a ton of damage. I personally don't like doing it, but if you want to, it's in there for you. The KRAKATOA, really good base game again for bossing, I would say primarily. One clip Graveward very easily today. Now literally just for the save file, I did not use this in any of the clips, by the way, because it is not mine, but I put it in the save file because I know how difficult they are to come by, so I chucked it in there for you guys. I got this one sent to me by a fellow Aussie streamer for Borderlands 3 who found this one by complete fluke. I had personally never seen a one-shot of shield, so I thought, why not? I'll put it in there if you guys want one for the save file. As for the shields, I actually was using in any of the clips. The Old God was pretty much anything that I was using for bossing situations that doesn't have a URAD anoint on there. This is a really, really good one to have. Extra 20% bonus fire damage is really helpful. This is only level 61, but most of the level 65 ones I've seen have less capacity than it, so I didn't see a point in going farming another one. Action skill and fire bonus is really good for things like Graveward, Tyrene, etc. Other options, anything you saw in the clips that was a URAD setup, aka I had less than 50% health, I was using this here front loader. Huge extra capacity on there, which is amazing, and bonus fire ASC. But there's actually a ton of shield options you can use for this build. The stopgap action skill starters mostly for rack attack. You can rock it with 3-shot fade if you want, but like I said, you can switch between either of those abilities if you want to. Frozen Heart, again, really good for rack attack. We have some transformers in here as well if you want to rock Pool Party for a huge amount of survivability. As for grenade, I'd highly recommend cloning or mitosis hunter seekers. You get them really easy from vending machines. I've got literally all of mine from vending machines in the last week or two. Just spam those up in the air when you are going into new mobbing situations. They just fly through the air, seek out other enemies, and they actually shoot bullets at them, which stacks up your kill skills from the Bounty Hunter class mod and get your Furious Attack stacked up as well. So when you're not shooting a ton, if you're just trying to one-shot things with the unseen threat, you're not really going to get those extra stacks really quickly, so the Hunter Seeker will help your damage out via that. As for class mod, like I said, Bounty Hunter is the way to go. This one, I've just collected them all as I went through because I love using sniper rifles. This is the God roll I found at level 57 for Sandhawks. It is absolutely amazing. Weapon crit, sniper rifle, and dual weapon crit damage is a really, really good roll to get. Try and look out for as many points in Most Dangerous Game as you can as well for these. It's a really, really strong ability on the Bounty Hunter class mod. I have a few different rolls in here. This one is just for any sniper rifle I don't have a particular roll for, like a complex route. I don't have any melee ones, but I have a really good one for Jacob's ones as well. 3 in Most Dangerous Game, and what is that, 72% extra bonus for Jacob's sniper rifles is really, really strong. As for artifact, I'm using the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge. Extra mag size, very, very helpful. Fire rate, kind of helpful depending on what sniper rifle you are using. We stack this one up really easily using the Hunter Seeker. Using single pellet or single fire Jacob sniper rifles doesn't stack this very quickly, so using the Hunter Seeker really helps out your damage with that as well. As for Mayhem modifiers, I actually used 2 different setups for this video. The first was using Galaxy Brain and Holy Crit. It's really, really easy when you're trying to hit those critical hits. If all the melee one guys have giant heads, it's just a much easier target to hit. Recommend doing that. As for medium and hard modifiers, I would always recommend Healy Avenger and Drone Ranger, unless you guys want to use the Transformer trick with Pool Party, which is a really good survivability trick if you want to do that. The only reason I ended up changing it to Speed Demon rather than Galaxy Brain is because that breaks some bosses. Like Graveward literally just destroys his crit hit spot. I don't know why, but that's the only reason I changed from Galaxy Brain for this build. Now for the good stuff, the level 65 sniper flak skill tree, starting with fadeaway. You don't have to go fadeaway. If you want to use rack attack, you totally can for this build. It doesn't change any of the points spend if you want to do that. But I'm using fadeaway, not my circus, as well as unblinking eye. We're going 3-shot fadeaway. You can use gorillas in the mist if you want to. Change your augments to 200% ASA in that case. And also you can, depending on what sniper rifle you're using, for example, unseen threat, if you're using the melee 1 takedown, it's going to one-shot any basic mob. So using unblinking eye actually isn't that useful because it's 4 successive hits on the same target. So you can actually change this one to until you are dead if you want to, for extra health regen and movement speed if you would like to. A bit of survivability there because you're not really going to get the extra damage. If you're using a multi-pellet weapon, or if you're using a LYUDA, something like that, against bossing situations in particular, always use unblinking eye. As for points spent, 5 points in Furious Attack. This one, just shooting things gets you more damage. Hunter Seeker stacks this one very quickly as well. Moving down, I put 5 points into Eager to Impress to get that cooldown for fadeaway back really quickly. One, helps you a ton with your damage as well as survivability. You don't really need fire rate unless you're using LYUDAs, the Prime, the Sandhawk, but mostly I was using Jacob's sniper rifle, so the extra fire rate wasn't really needed. That gets us down regardless to Turntail and Run, extra health regen and damage reduction whilst moving, and then gun damage fire rate whilst standing still. So whenever you are shooting essentially with this build, stand still, take a second, hit that critical hit, you get a ton of damage out of it. I put a point in Lick the Wounds. We were running a URAD sniper only flak build, so you do tend to go down from stupid things like barrels, or if you just stood out in the middle of the open and you're out of fadeaway, you might go down. Pet will help you out with that situation if you can't find an enemy. Put 3 points in the Fast and the Furious, extra gun damage, movement speed, and pet damage as well. 5 points in Hidden Machine, essentially when enemies can't see you, which is when you're in fadeaway, or when Not My Circus is activated, aka Pet is taunting all the enemies. You'll get an extra 30% extra damage. Power Inside Capstone is amazing, 25% extra damage for 15 seconds when you activate your action skill. If you're at full health at the time, you'll get an extra 50%, or 50% total, extra 25%, which is really strong. Over to a Red Tree, we put 3 points into Leave No Trace. Essentially, whenever you hit a critical hit, you have a chance to put a bullet back in the magazine. Really good for Jacob sniper rifles, as well as the Skull Masher in particular, because you can spam that thing and it has a multi-pellets. More chances to put bullets back in the mag, and you won't have to reload, particularly in bossing situations. 5 points into Interplanetary Stalker. It's a kill skill. Get a ton of damage. You can also stack that with Hunter Seekers and the Bounty Hunter class mod. Down to Hunter's Eye, put 5 points in this. You get all those bonuses against those individual enemies, but when using the Bounty Hunter class mod, you get all of those bonuses against all bosses, which is really good. 3 points into Headcount. Getting action skill cooldown rate is really essential for this build, trying to go back into fadeaway all the time for damage as well as survivability. I put 5 points into Ambush Predator. I very rarely do this, but I thought I would spec this for constant damage with sniper rifles because you're always sticking back, you always have this activated, so you're getting a ton of damage out of it. 20% extra critical hit damage. Two Fang I also very rarely do as well, but for single pellet weapons like sniper rifles, you get a huge bonus. 25% of the time, you're going to get a whole extra bullet firing your shot, so it's doubling your damage. For the unseen threat, it's really good for one-shotting things in particular. Moving down to big game, essentially extra hunt skill duration and effects. If anything says hunt skill in your skill trees, that is going to boost it, which is really good. For example, the most dangerous game kill skill is one of them. A really good ability, extra gun damage, crit damage, handling, and pet damage for 120 seconds, which is really good. You can also get this by using the Bounty Hunter class mod and a Hunter Seeker, so you don't have to get the kills to actually stack this up instantly. 1 point in Galactic Shadow, cheap critical hit damage there. I then put 3 points into Grim Harvest for extra damage, only 9%, so you can put this into reload speed if you want to, depending on what weapon you're using. If you need it, you can put it there instead, but I opted for more damage with Grim Harvest. Moving down 1 point into Megavore, the Red Tree Capstone is really good. 20% chance to hit critical hit anywhere on an enemy's body is an amazing ability. If an enemy is moving around a ton, or it just has a really small crit hit, or if it's on that back, you can often get the critical hit just by hitting them in the chest anyways, and getting a ton of damage out of it. As for Blue Tree, I didn't put a single point in here. Now you can, if you want to take a few extra points like Ambush Predator, you can take it out of there, and Grim Harvest, and instead spec down to Frenzy if you want to. It may even work out as more damage, but I personally want to go for the Ambush Predator for the snipers. You're going to have it all the time. You don't rely on Pet in bossing situations. It is really hard to get Pet to stack up Frenzy in some situations, so I thought, why not? I might lose 5 or maybe 10% damage out of some situations, but I'm always going to have these bonuses up. I won't have to wait for Pet to stack up Frenzy to have that extra damage. And if Pet goes down, because it's not a Game Burst build, sometimes in a takedown the Pet might go down, I'm always going to have the damage even if he isn't on the battlefield. As for pet choice, Spider and Scorcher is pretty much the one I go for most of my builds at the moment. 10% extra elemental damage, 1% health regen per second, and the pet just does a ton of damage, which is really helpful as well. And that is my level 65 Mayhem 10 snipers only flag build for bossing and mobbing situations as well. It was a ton of fun to put this one together for you guys. Really hope you guys did find this video helpful or enjoyable. If you did, don't forget to smash subscribe down below. It helped me out a ton. Like I said, 90% of people that watch my videos this month aren't subscribed, so it would mean a lot if you guys could hit that subscribe button on the way out. If you guys want to help me out even more, you can smash that like button. And if you have any questions or suggestions or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I also have a Twitch, a Twitter, and a Discord, all linked in the description. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I shall see you guys next video and a live stream. Till then, adios.